Hello everyone, this is the first of two videos that I'm doing explaining concept mapping. I've split it into two sessions so that you can more easily review the example of the concept map that I'm building from scratch for you. In this session, what I'd like to do is explain a little bit about what concept mapping is and some of the reasons why you should learn to do this technique. When we're trying to learn something new, learning some of the vocabulary is generally one of the initial steps towards learning. In this class, we have the textbook, which has bolded terms. We have chapter reviews, multiple subheadings per chapter. In addition, I've also given you a list of useful terms to help you answer the questions and the expected learning outcomes. Because we have this basic information already available, what we want to do now is to learn deeper than just memorizing a list of terms. Concept maps are one of the tools that we can use to learn better. Concept maps were initially developed to assist in learning science, but you can use this technique to study any topic. Concept mapping is regularly used as a brainstorming tool in business, by programmers to assist with software design, and in education, of course. A little practice with this technique will give you another tool to use as you study in our class and beyond the academic setting. Concept maps can be very simple, ranging up to more complex. Some people like to use graphics with their concept maps, while others rely almost entirely on text. Regardless of the final result, the most useful concept map is the one that you build on your own, and the learning process that you go through as you create that concept map. Here are some of the reasons why I believe that you should learn to build concept maps. First of all, they can be done with any subject. This learning tool that you can practice now can be applied to other coursework and even beyond the academic setting. Concept maps are useful because they go beyond surface learning. Surface learning can be like repeating what's already been said, while with concept mapping, you are using a certain amount of knowledge to create something new. You're creating more than what was there to begin with. Concept mapping also opens up new routes to learning. Even in a highly text-dependent concept map, this process can still be very visual. The nature of drawing out terms in a two-dimensional interactive space also adds towards some aspects of physical learning. Here we have two more routes towards learning other than just reading the material alone. Concept maps also help us understand about learning. You can practice organizing your own thoughts. Concept maps can help you recognize when you have enough information. But perhaps more importantly, concept maps can help you recognize what concepts you need to study more, rather than just rereading everything twice. Concept maps can also help you get beyond memorizing vocabulary terms. With so many resources, knowing a long list of vocabulary is not always the most useful skill. Knowing vocabulary is too easy. We have the internet with Google and other search engines. There are plenty of e-texts, electronic versions of journals, books, newspapers, and other reference materials. Don't forget that we still have hard copies of all these types of things, and also people at our disposal. There are a lot of ways to get at just vocabulary. Vocabulary is easy, but understanding relationships of ideas are on a level above just memorizing vocabulary. As we learn how to tease out relationships on our own, this is more valuable to our learning than memorizing vocabulary alone. I would suggest that understanding relationships is what people are actually going to pay us for outside the academic world. Right here we have a concept. This is a graphic of a concept map from the Wikipedia entry on concept mapping. As you can see, a lot of information could be packed in on one page, even when the graphics are very simple. This brings me to the next reason for concept maps. How many things can you remember at once? Once we start out with a small number of vocabulary words, but then there are always more vocabulary words. The list grows as we add classes, as we add topics that we are beginning to learn, and as we increase the number of vocabulary lists, the difficulty in remembering all these terms also increases. How many items can you remember at once? Concept maps help us to do more than look at ideas individually. Because of relationships, we can learn more because we are learning a fewer number of things. We can continue to interconnect these concepts, and in a certain manner, this is giving our brain more ways to hold on to these materials. This final page here are a list of some of the links where I got the concept maps that you see in this presentation. Now let's go ahead and look at the second presentation so we can build a concept map together.